Hi, my name is Sue from S Creations, and thank you for joining me in my craft room. Are you as puzzled as I am about what's going on in this world right now? It's crazy. So I thought I would kind of just make a card that has a puzzle in it, and I will show you how I came up with this project. Here are the supplies that you'll need for this project, from paper to stamps to ink, scissors, and pencils, and I'll give all the measurements during the video. The first thing we're going to do is line up our stamps. Now I'm using a stamp positioner because you're going to make two exactly the same. So once you line it up the first time, you'll have it for both 4x4 squares. And I put this darker cardstock underneath so I could see that 4x4 square easier. And when I arrange my stamps, I know they have to fit within that 4x4 square. And here's the challenge is you don't want any overlapping on any of the other lines. You want it to be within that 4x4 square because it's going to stamp on your cardstock. But you want to just play around with it as much, and you want to either have a little space, more space, whatever you want to do to fill up that card. Now, if you want it to be really intricate for your recipient, you can add a lot of stamps in there, or you could just do one stamp, whichever you want to do to make it fun for them. I chose 4 butterflies, and they're all different so that I could color them and make it a little challenging. And I did different size butterflies, but they all have a little bit of the same type of image to kind of make it a little challenging. Once you have all 4 the way you want it, then you're just going to stamp them on each of the 4x4 panels. And I use the amalgam ink because I really didn't know at the time which kind of medium I was going to use to color these. If I was going to use alcohol markers, or if I was going to use colored pencils. You could do this on watercolor paper if you have that. That would be really pretty too, to just do a watercolor. You would just have to be consistent with both panels. And for me, I'm not that consistent with watercolors. So I'm just using the amalgam ink. That way I can color them any way I want. And you're going to do both panels the exact same way, which is why we're doing it on the stamp positioner. And after you're done doing the butterflies and you want to add your greeting, and for me, I'm using Hello Friend. And I put that on there before I removed the butterflies so I can make sure it's in the exact same place as it is for both cards. I was going to use a block, but then I couldn't be exact, and I wanted to be almost perfect from one to the other. So after I laid that in there to the way I wanted it, then I could remove the butterflies and just leave the Hello Friend, and I had another little butterfly in there just to make it a little bit more challenging for somebody who's doing this. Again, you can use any stamps you want. You could have done flowers, you could have done anything in between here. It's up to you how you want to make that for the puzzle. It's kind of just a fun way to just use our imagination of how we want to do it. And I did stamp the Hello Friend in the Wisteria from Gina K Designs, which is like a purple. And then the butterfly, I just did that in the black Onyx for that because I wasn't going to color that in. I left that black and white. But for the greeting, I wanted that to stand out. And I did stamp it twice to kind of give it a little bit more of a bold color. A little bit brighter color than just one stamping. So I did do it twice on each of the panels. And now you have 2 completed panels that are exactly the same and ready for the next step. And after you've colored it any way you've wanted it to, and here I did that with pencils, but you could do it with markers or any other medium you want. You just want to make sure that you color them the exact same way, and you can get more complicated or less complicated depending on how you want to your recipient to do the puzzle. So it just depends on if you want it to be really confusing or just semi-confusing. You can do all one color, whatever you want to do. And to make it easier, I flip it over and you could see the opposite side, and you're going to draw your puzzle pieces. And this is when your pencil and your eraser will come in handy. You just want to freeform some pencil guidelines of your puzzle pieces. It doesn't have to be exact. You just want to have a format. And here you can decide whether or not you, like I said, how crazy you want to get with the pieces. Either you want to be small or you want to be large. It depends on your recipient and what you want them to do, and whether you want to have a bunch of oranges in one color or a bunch of butterflies in the one setup, or it really is up to you of how you want to do your pattern puzzle pieces. You could just draw, keep going with circles and squares until you get what you want all the way through the whole card. I'll zoom it in a little bit more so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but it's all just circles and, just, I don't know what you want to call it, where you cut the circles going inside the puzzle piece or outside the puzzle piece, around the butterflies, whatever you want to do. Just remember, however you do it, you're going to have to cut around all these pieces. So you may not want too many of the pattern pieces. You may just want to have one circle on each block, or you may just want to keep it simple. And again, you may want to make it, I did it squares for this one, but you, just like puzzle pieces, you could make them on a diagonal. Here with the light box, you're able to really see and make your changes as you're doing it and get the format that you want, and divide it up between the whole square that you have. I hope this is coming across as much as the way I want to show it, but mostly you're just randomly doing any type of pattern piece, and then you're going to cut those out. And because you're drawing them, they're going to be exact when you flip them over. They're going to match up. So even if you don't want to draw them, you could just use scissors and freeform the pattern and cut out. You don't have to do puzzle pieces. You could just do freeform. And you just have to, like I said, you'll have to cut all the pattern pieces out. And I've sped up the process here so you don't have to watch me continue cutting out, but you're going to cut out all the little pieces that you drew. And when you're all done, you can just erase the pattern pieces on the back, because if you didn't cut exactly like your pattern pieces, you want to get rid of those pencil marks. And then try your puzzle yourself. If you're having problems putting it together like I did, then you know you did a good job and you've got a pretty good puzzle going. If you can't put it back together, matching up the other card panel, that's why you have the other card panel, so you could see what it's supposed to look like. And that's why you want it to be as close to, when you do both pieces, they're exact so that the person has something to look at. So if you're putting it together and you're having troubles, then you know, thumbs up, you did a great job. And once you're done, you can put it with the other panel. You get an idea of what it is that you did. And so here you have your puzzle piece on one side, and then you have your panel on the other. And that's how we're going to now put the card together. So the first thing I did was I put using black Onyx cardstock, which is 1/8 of an inch larger than the original piece of white cardstock. So it's 4 1/8 all the way around. And so I'm adhering that with the tape roller for the first part panel of the butterflies. Now this is the card part that they're going to see on the front, so when they get the puzzle, they'll know what it is that it's supposed to look like. And I did put this on the Tangerine Twist cardstock, and I will put Gina K Designs link down below. And I put that up towards the top so that I have room for I did make a label down below that I used from La La Land Crafts, their Marci, one of her Marci stamps. and I used that time to relax. And then I used another butterfly from another kit. And I'll put all the links of the stamp sets down below so you can see which ones I used. And I stamped that in the sweet mango because it had I kind of wanted it to match the butterflies and the cardstock. And with the leftover black onyx cardstock that I had from cutting the panel, I then attached this sentiment to it. And also, it is also 1/8 of an inch larger than my strip. So it was also 4 1/8 by 1 1/8 because my strip is 1 inch thick. And then on the inside, I adhered the panel that we will put your greeting on the inside, and also we will make a pocket for the puzzle pieces to hold in there when they get that. And I stamped another butterfly on the inside in sweet mango. That way it matches what's in the front and it stays consistent from the outside of the card to the inside of the card. And sweet mango, I don't have the exact ink that matches the cardstock, so this was the closest that I have. So I just used the sweet mango, which is really a pretty color. I really like that, and I use it as much as I can. And I just put that in the lower corner. For the inside, I was thinking how the puzzle pieces, I didn't really want them to kind of be scattered throughout the card. When somebody opened up the card, I didn't want it to fall out like confetti. So I wanted to make a holder for it. So I grabbed a piece of scrap white paper that I had that I cut earlier when I cut the panels, and I just making like a little pocket. I took some really thin score tape and just put it on 3 sides of and this panel is a little bit larger than the 3 3/4 wide. It's probably 4 inches wide, just gives it a little bit, because I knew the puzzle pieces were gonna lift it up a little bit, so I wanted to have a little bit more space than if it was just flat straight across without any give. So I gave it a little bit bigger than that. And then after I put the score tape on, I kind of wanted to put something on there, and like not a greeting, but something to kind of let them know that is something behind there. So from the stamp set that I had earlier, there was an enjoy. It says enjoy, and I thought that would be perfect for the pocket, because then it would just enjoy while they're doing the puzzle. So I just stamped that in the Wisteria ink from Gina K to match the Hello Friend from the outside of the card. Again, trying to keep it consistent with just using those colors. And so I stamped enjoy right in the center of it, as close to the center as I could get. And then I took off the score tape and I just put that in the center of the panel. And I just kind of eyeballed where the center would be, knowing that the pieces were going to stick up a little bit. So I just kind of put it right in there. You can see that the puzzle pieces fit inside nicely. They're all contained, and they're not going to fall out when somebody opens up the card. It's not like confetti. You just want to clean it up. I had a little piece hanging off. So that is the card that I made for this project. Thank you for joining me in my craft room. I hope you enjoyed this project. It was a lot of fun, and during this time when we need to just relax and maybe enjoy some puzzles, this is a fun project to try to tackle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll see my future projects that I have coming up. Thank you very much for watching.